Hey everybody, it's Ron from Pick Dawgz, and this is Ron's Bank Shot Breakdown. We're going to go over 4 college basketball games for Saturday, March 11th, 2023. Now, if you like what you see, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to put your college basketball picks in the comments section below. And if you're looking for my best bets, including my $15 Bank Shot best bet, you can find those at the Premium Picks tab at pickdawgz.com. Alrighty, let's get into it. Here are the games for Saturday in college hoops. First up, we go to the America East Tournament as UMass Lowell takes on Vermont. This one's going to be 11 o'clock Eastern in the morning. It's going to be on ESPN2. Now, look at that total in this game at 142. I think that's set just a little bit too high. In a championship game, it's set up to be a pretty big battle between these two teams that know each other very well. They played each other twice in the regular season. And, both teams, I think, are underrated quite a bit on the defensive end. We know these teams are going to be able to score some points, very good shooting teams on both sides. But Vermont's a very good defensive rebounding team, so it kind of cancels out the fact that UMass Lowell is 11th in the nation in offensive rebounding. Vermont's a very slow-paced team. They play 289th in the country in average possession length offensively. They are the home team and the favorite, so I would expect Vermont to be able to dictate the pace in this game, slow it down a little bit on both ends of the court, and keep this game more of a defensive battle. I think both teams would be comfortable in that kind of setting. And, like we've said, we saw Vermont in the first 2 rounds of this tournament. They took down NJIT, giving up only 57 points, against Binghamton, only giving up 57 points. In fact, Vermont has not given up more than 66 points in its last 4 games. UMass Lowell, on the other end, their defense has been very strong lately in their last 3 games, giving up less than 65 points. So I think we're going to see a low-scoring game, a little bit more low-scoring than we would expect for both of these teams. Give me the under in UMass Lowell, Vermont. I'm leaning towards Vermont laying the points, but it is a pretty big number in a championship game, so I'll just take the under. Next up, we go to the Ivy League as Cornell takes on Yale. This one's going to be 11 o'clock Eastern in the morning. It's going to be on ESPNU. Now, the winner of this game will play the winner of the Penn and Princeton game in the Ivy League Championship on Sunday. And you got to think that Yale is the favorite to win this conference tournament. I think this is the best team in the conference for sure. They're ranked inside the top 100 in adjusted offensive and defensive efficiency. But I got to say, I think Cornell's been underrated for most of the season. I think there's some value here with the Big Red in this game. I think Yale's going to win it. I think Cornell's going to cover. Cornell, their offense we know is strong. I mean, they're top 50 in adjusted offensive efficiency. They take care of the ball. They're a great shooting team, one of the best shooting teams in the country. Now, sure, they didn't play the toughest schedule this year in non-conference play. They're not the most experienced team, but they should be able to score some points in this game. The defense is where the big issues has been for Cornell this year, ranked 287th in adjusted defensive efficiency. But I think it's better than that. I think you look at the shot quality defense, it's solid on paper. You look at the fact that Cornell forces a lot of turnovers. I'd like to see them be a little bit better defensive rebounding team. They're ranked 219th, which is a little bit below average. But nonetheless, you force plenty of turnovers. I think you've been more unlucky than not this season on the defensive end. And you score plenty of points. You're a decent 3-point shooting team, an amazing 2-point shooting team. I think Cornell has what it takes to compete in this game and keep it close, at least within a number. I think Yale wins the game, like I said, but I do think Cornell is able to cover. So give me the points here with the Big Red at the neutral site. Next up, we go to the A10 tournament as Fordham takes on Dayton. It's going to be in the semifinal round. This one, 3:30 Eastern on CBS Sports Network. Fordham's a very sneaky team. They've been solid this season. They're ranked. They're 25-7 overall. There's 12-6 in conference play. You add that win against LaSalle in their first game of the tournament. 13-6 in the A10. Not what I expected from this team going into the season. But where I am concerned about the Rams is the fact that this is a team that we've seen struggle against opposing teams that have very good front courts, very good forwards. We saw it in non-conference play against Arkansas, where Arkansas won that game 74-48, absolute blowout win. We saw it in the lone matchup between these two teams on January 10th, where Dayton won 82-58, blowout win there, and that was a home game for Fordham. We saw it against Rhode Island, where Fordham lost that game by 3 points on the road. Not a great Rhode Island team, but definitely a Rhode Island front court that's been solid this season. We saw it against Richmond. Tyler Burton and Mark Grace had a really good game in that one against the Rams. We saw it against VCU. We saw it against George Mason and Josh Oduro, one of the best forwards in the conference as well. So now you've got Dayton, who has one of the best forwards, not only in the A10, but really out of all the mid-major conferences in college hoops, and Deron Holmes, adding the fact that this is a really tall Dayton team, a good rebounding team, and a very good defensive team. I just don't think that the matchup benefits Fordham very well. I think Dayton's going to be able to score a lot of 2-point buckets down low in the paint in this game. Dayton's ranked 45th in the country in 2-point field goal percentage as it is. I just don't really trust Fordham's defense, although it's been pretty good for most of the year. I don't think it's good enough in this matchup. And then the offense, Dayton, like I said, a very good defensive team. This is the 4th best 3-point defense. Fordham is known to take a good amount of 3-pointers per game. Dayton hasn't been able to force a lot of turnovers this year, but they're good on the defensive glass. They don't take too many fouls. I think this matchup benefits Dayton a lot more than it does Fordham. At the neutral site here, I'm willing to lay the pretty small number with Dayton. Next up, we go to the other game in the A10 tournament between St. Louis and VCU. This one, 1 o'clock Eastern on CBS Sports Network. Now, we saw the teams play not too long ago, back on February 28th, and it was a pretty high-scoring game, at least for VCU games. 79-67, the final score, 146 total points scored in that game. And what really has me concerned about St. Louis's defense is the fact that they gave up 79 points in that game, despite VCU shooting only 2 of 13, 15.4% from the three-point line in that game. So, VCU's had decent three-point performances at different times this season. Overall, they're ranked 180th in the nation in three-point shooting, 34% around, so a lot better than 15%. If VCU was able to score just under 80 points without making those three-pointers, what's going to be the case when VCU's nailing about 30 to 35% from the perimeter? I worry about that for St. Louis's defense because of that, and because of the fact that both of these teams are played pretty fast-paced on offense, both in the top 100 in average possession length offensively. I think we're going to see some scoring here. I know VCU's defense is solid, but it's also a defense that's kind of aggressive. They like to force a lot of turnovers, but not a very good defensive rebounding team. I think St. Louis is going to be fine offensively in this game. A pretty good offensive team for the Billikens. So I think we're going to see some points in this game from both teams. Back and forth kind of game. Give me the over in St. Louis VCU. And that's it. Those are the games for Saturday in college basketball. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. And don't forget to put your college basketball picks in the comments section below. Again, if you're looking for my best bets, you can find those at Pick Dawgz Premium. As always, this is Ron Romanelli. Good luck.